Welcome back to B and B for Phone. Today is a beautiful and we are absolutely buzzing with excitement over the latest explosive drama hitting our screens. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let us dive straight into the juicy chaos unfolding right now. We have been watching the simmering tension between Dylan and Electra for weeks, and we all knew it was only a matter of time before this powder keg exploded. But here is the surprise. Nobody could have predicted just how spectacularly this confrontation would play out. The latest spoilers reveal that Dylan is officially done playing the quiet, supportive friend in the shadows. She is utterly exhausted from hiding her true, passionate feelings for Will Spencer. And you won't believe what happens next. Dylan looks Electra dead in the eye and boldly confesses that her feelings for Will are not just a passing crush. They are intense, they are real, and they are undeniable. She flat out tells Electra that she and Will have this incredible, undeniable chemistry and an emotional connection that simply cannot be ignored. Can you believe it? Dylan is finally claiming her territory. She drops the ultimate bombshell, hinting heavily at her recent overnight stay at the beach house with Will, making it crystal clear that she is no longer just the sweet girl seeking shelter. She is a woman in love. Electra, as you can imagine, completely loses her mind. The sheer audacity of Dylan standing in Forrester Creations and declaring her love for the man Electra still feels a deep, complicated ownership over is enough to send her into a blinding rage. Electra resorts to calling Dylan some incredibly harsh names, completely shattering whatever fragile illusion of friendship they had left. But Electra does not just stop at insults. Oh no, she goes straight for the jugular. Electra immediately tracks down Will and R.J. Forrester and screams at them to fire Dylan on the spot. Fire her, she demands, making it clear that if they do not terminate Dylan's employment at Forrester Creations immediately, she will march straight up to the executive offices and tell Eric and Ridge Forrester everything about Dylan's inappropriate relationship with Will. That is crazy. Let's be honest. We absolutely love to see this kind of raw, unhinged soap opera drama, but we need to unpack the deep psychological warfare happening here. Dylan is a fascinating character study. When she first arrived in town, she played the innocent, homeless former schoolteacher to absolute perfection. We all felt sorry for her, didn't we? But beneath that sweet, unassuming exterior lies a woman who is incredibly strategic and fiercely determined to get what she wants. Why is she confessing all of this to Electra right now? It is a classic power play. Dylan knows that Electra is still emotionally reeling from her Aunt Ivy's disastrous, manipulative letter scheme that tore her and Will apart in the first place. By throwing her passionate night with Will in Electra's face, Dylan is intentionally triggering all of Electra's insecurities. Dylan is marking her territory and daring Electra to do her worst. But is Dylan actually in love with Will? Or is she simply obsessed with the security and status that comes with snagging a Spencer heir? I personally think Dylan believes she loves him, but her version of love is deeply tangled in her massive web of lies. And speaking of lies, this brings us to the most thrilling plot twist, hovering just out of sight. Dylan is acting so bold and invincible right now, completely unaware that Wyatt Spencer is currently utilizing all of his vast Spencer Publications resources to launch a private, deep-dive investigation into her past. Wyatt is the ultimate protective older brother, and he has been burned way too many times by women harboring massive, life-altering secrets. Just look at his tragic history with Sally Spectra and Flo Fulton. Wyatt can spot a scam artist from a mile away, and he knows Dylan's story about being a homeless orphan just does not add up. Fan theories are running wild right now about the shocking identity of Dylan's biological mother. Could she be tied to a legacy villain? Could she be related to Quinn Fuller, or perhaps someone from Deacon's shady past? Whatever Wyatt finds, it is going to absolutely destroy this fragile romantic bubble Dylan is trying to build with Will. She is playing a dangerous game of chess, but she does not even realize Wyatt is about to flip the entire board. Now, let us turn our attention to the absolute hypocrisy and psychological unraveling of Electra. I have to say, I am incredibly disappointed in how Electra is handling this, but I am also thoroughly entertained. Electra has spent the last few weeks crying and playing the victim over her Aunt Ivy's controlling, manipulative behavior. She rebelled against Ivy for trying to dictate her love life and her career. Yet, the absolute second Dylan poses a threat, what does Electra do? She immediately weaponizes her corporate power and family connections to destroy her rival. By demanding that Will and RJ fire Dylan and threatening to run to Eric and Ridge, Electra is proving that the toxic Forrester-adjacent apple does not fall far from the tree. She is acting exactly like Ivy. She is using Forrester Creations as her own personal high school battleground. It is a classic move for these legacy families. When they cannot win on an emotional level, they use their immense wealth and corporate hierarchy to crush their enemies. But will Will and RJ actually cave to Electra's demands? This is where the successor characters really start to show their true colors. Will Spencer is currently in an incredibly vulnerable state. He is heartbroken, confused, and emotionally exhausted from the constant tug-of-war between these women. He let Dylan into his home. He shared a deeply intimate, vulnerable night with her on that sofa, and a part of him clearly craves the uncomplicated affection she offers. For Will to turn around and fire her just to appease Electra's jealous rage would be a massive betrayal of his own moral compass. However, Will is also a Spencer, and when pushed into a corner, he might just shut down emotionally. Then we have RJ Forrester. Oh, RJ, the boy who carries the heavy, arrogant legacy of both Ridge Forrester and Massimo Marone. RJ has been actively pursuing Electra, even getting into a physical fistfight with Will over her. You would think RJ would jump at the chance to fire Dylan if it means scoring major points with Electra. But RJ is also highly competitive. He might look at this situation and realize that if Will is distracted by Dylan, it leaves the door wide open for him to finally claim Electra's heart. RJ might actually defend Dylan's job just to keep her in Will's orbit. The suspense of how these two young men will react to Electra's screaming ultimatum is exactly why we cannot stop watching. And we cannot ignore the massive looming threat of Eric and Ridge Forrester being dragged into this mess. Let's look at the bigger picture happening in Los Angeles right now. Forrester Creations is already a complete and utter war zone. Brooke Logan has just issued a terrifying scorched earth ultimatum to Hope, threatening to disown her completely if she doesn't quit Katie's new fashion house. Brooke is also making seductive, aggressive moves to oust Steffi and become co-CEO alongside Ridge. Meanwhile, Steffi is dealing with the horrific psychological trauma of Sheila Carter, dropping to her knees and begging for forgiveness, completely unaware that Sheila is actively plotting a deadly, horrific accident to take her out permanently. Ridge is drowning in corporate warfare, family feuds, and life-or-death stakes. If Electra actually marches into the executive suite and demands that Ridge fire a receptionist because of a love triangle, Ridge might just fire Electra instead. Ridge has zero patience for this slow-paced plot of 20-something romance when his own wife and daughter are at each other's throats. Electra is vastly overestimating her importance at the company right now. She thinks her designs make her untouchable, but in the grand legacy of Forrester Creations, everyone is replaceable. This entire situation is a brilliant reflection of the generational cycles on the bold and the beautiful. We are literally watching the next generation of Brooke, Taylor, and Quinn being born right before our eyes. Dylan is utilizing the classic Brooke Logan strategy: lead with passion, follow your heart, and ignore the collateral damage. Electra is channeling the righteous indignation of Stephanie Forrester, trying to banish the Valley Girl from the sacred halls of the fashion house. It is poetic, it is dramatic, and it is destined to end in absolute disaster for everyone involved. So, what do you guys think? Will Electra actually succeed in getting Dylan fired, or will her vindictive behavior push Will permanently into Dylan's arms? And how much longer until Wyatt kicks down the door and exposes Dylan's massive, shocking secret identity to the world? I personally cannot wait to see Dylan's smug face fall when her entire house of cards comes crashing down. Drop your wildest theories in the comments below. Let us know who you think Dylan's real mother is, and do not forget to subscribe to B&B for Phone for all your daily soap updates. Until next time, keep the drama on the screen.
What do you guys think about today's drama? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for your daily dose of bold and beautiful news. See you in the next video.